Okay, to Washington now. Blake Burman, NewsNation's chief Washington correspondent. He's moderator of The Hill. He joins us as well. So we're talking about national politics today. I think these poll numbers that the president on his 81st birthday is looking at is probably the topic du jour. Young voters, views on the war, not a favorable situation, I'm sure, from the White House's point of view.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of top lines here, right? Donald Trump for the first time in this NBC poll beating President Biden by a couple points. Then you go to the issue of the war, right? Israel and Hamas. Democrats are really the only group that view the president's handling of the war favorably, though that's barely above water. What I found interesting, Connell, when you sift through all the numbers here, youth vote. 18 to 34 years old. That is traditionally heavily Democratic, right? If you're a Democrat, you want to win the presidency, you want to take over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, one of the things that you got to do is just nail down that youth vote. It is +4 Republican at this point in time. And you can see part of the reason why. Do you approve or disapprove of the president's handling of the war? 18 to 34, only 20% do. And then there you go, the youth vote. Donald Trump at 46% to Joe Biden's 42%. I don't know, Connell, how any Democrat beats a Republican in a heads up, or just put it this way, in a presidential race, if they lose the youth vote, or if it's even close. That is a stunning, stunning number, and it just goes to show some of the issues that the president has with his own base. Now, what are we, less than a year out, 50 weeks out, or
yeah,
it is,
and not just a Republican, but Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the person in that. So you think about this; these are young voters who, at least in this poll, and again, a lot could change, but at least in this poll, are saying I would vote 46% to 42% for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. One thing to say, you don't like Joe Biden, you don't like the war.
And you got to wonder. And I was wondering, I don't know what you think about this, but obviously the war is the story, or obviously one of these stories right now. The other continues to be the economy and inflation. Yeah. And I just wonder, Connell, what you think. Do you think some of that goes to, if you're, I don't know, let's just 18 to 34, let's go down the middle, let's just say you're 26 years old, right? Do you remember Donald Trump as the president when there wasn't inflation, and Joe Biden as the president when there was inflation? Like, do you think that has something to do with it? I don't know. I was thinking about that.
I mean, we had our panel on it. Mae Millman kind of made that argument, and it might.
Did she?
I think, it's more that when you're given a choice, you're asked by a pollster, pick one or the other, and if you don't like one, you pick the other. I think I'm just surprised that, given what we've been through in the country the last however many years, that the choice would be Trump for young voters, not just Republican, Democrat, but Biden versus Trump. Anyway, Brad Sherman is one of your guests, I think, tonight. So let me just, sorry, we're a little short for time. So just tell us what's coming on.
No worries. Democratic congressman from California. We've seen 13 senators, Democratic senators, just this afternoon, Connell, write a letter to the president, sort of outlining what they want to see go forward. Of course, one of the key themes, and you see it in that poll, is the Democratic divide when it comes to Israel and how to handle that war. And we will speak with the congressman about what he's seeing within his own party coming up here in about 25 minutes' time.
Really interesting dynamics within the party and what it leads to next year in the election. Unknown, but the polls are surprising in many ways. Blake, thank you. We'll see you at the top of the hour. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.